What's up, friends? Welcome back to another episode of NFT 365. And, the ETH Merge, I feel like it is a hot topic of conversation in the Twitter spaces and a bunch of Discords. But it's also one of those things where it's a great reminder that there are things such as fake news, bad news, and that news that's somewhere in between that we have to kind of cut through, filter through, and figure out what actually we have to care about. And so on this episode, we're going to cover the 5 most popular questions that I believe everyone in the NFT community is asking. And the reason I say that is because I've been in a bunch of Twitter spaces over the last week answering questions and talking about all things ETH Merge that is coming up here in the next couple of days. And so we're going to cover all of that. Of course, before we do that, definitely want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Crypto Business Conference. And got something cool for you at the end of today's episode. Stick around. For those of you that might not be able to travel to San Diego or be there in person for the event, I'll give you some details on what you can find out then. And then, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about our mint, our throwback, as we're counting down. We have 60 days left. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 60 days left. I was like, oh my goodness, that means we have 2 months left. But really, 60 days is 60 days. I mean, all these months have different amounts of days in them. But in this journey, I'm actually going to highlight the mint from number 302. So this was back on, it was actually September 9th. We minted Dominion X. And Dominion X is a collection of 7,777 NFTs with a bunch of visual traits, really designed by a combination of Stupid Buddy Studios and Steve Aioki. I will say, Steve Aioki, love him or hate him, he definitely is a big player in the NFT space at the moment, splashing around. But I hold a bunch of his NFTs, and I will just tell you, this isn't financial advice. Do your own damn research. But the NFTs I own of his, they've held their value above mint pretty much this entire time, which we can't say about all NFTs, let alone NFTs that are in that celebrity realm. So excited to have that one in our collection, number 302. All right, with that being said, let's jump right into the ETH Merge questions and things that are going around on all things ETH Merge. And for those that didn't watch our episode or listen to our episode on the ETH Merge, you can actually type into Google. This is how interesting it is. You can just type in the words ETH space merge into Google. And what's pretty funny is they actually have a ETH Merge countdown is the very first result. So, I mean, when people talk about like, oh, Web3 has not been mass adopted or crypto and blockchains, well, Google, let's just face it, if we can Google just about everything, but Google does not prioritize a lot of things when it comes to search results unless a lot of people are searching for something. So what does that mean? Pretty much there must be a lot of people searching and saying, what is the countdown to the ETH Merge? So as I'm recording this, there are 2 days, 10 hours, 29 minutes left in the actual time until we are on the ETH Merge, which I think we'll probably be able to think of this like BC, right? This is like, before, we're going to call it BM, right? Before the merge and after the merge. And I tweeted this out the other day. We're probably, 5 years from now or so, I want everybody to picture this. 5 years or so from now, we're going to be sitting around and be like, back in my day, I used to trade JPEGs on that proof of work blockchain of Ethereum, right? It's going to be like all the way back in our day. So it's cool that if you're here listening to this and you are before the merge, hey, we are here early. If you're after the merge and you're coming here to play with us now, welcome to a much more optimized and upgraded solution for us as far as the ETH Merge. Now, before I get into questions, I just want to highlight a couple things. One of the main reasons that I think this is so important to talk about has nothing to do with gas prices, has nothing to do with NFTs, and really has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. It has everything to do with the fact that in Web3, those that are building technology are so hyper-conscious and so aware and so committed to building a sustainable future that they've spent 3+ years working to optimize and make the Ethereum blockchain 99.95% more sustainable. That's the upgrade, right? This is not a financially driven upgrade. I mean, honestly, it pisses off pretty much every Ethereum, miner that exists in the world, because they've been making a hand over fist with all the Ethereum mining. But for all intents and purposes, all of this testing, all of this delay, all of this anticipation is the idea of, well, if we believe that Ethereum and blockchains are the future, we must optimize and upgrade them so that they are sustainable, so they use less of our resources, so they have a less vulnerabilities as far as security and places to penetrate. And so it really doesn't matter if you listen to any of the rest of this episode, because here's what I want everyone to think about. When someone says, bashes cryptocurrency or talks bad about blockchain or mocks about NFTs and maybe they're bad for the environment or it's funny money or monopoly, you have to ask yourself or ask them, what technology are they aware of that in its infancy spends all of its time and resources focused on sustainability over everything else? The iPhone didn't do it. Amazon sure as hell didn't do it. Microsoft didn't do it. Tesla did not do it. Go back and look at the Tesla battery testing when Tesla started rolling out battery testing and what that was like for the environment. So the reason I think I get fired up about this topic is the element of where we're going with this conversation is that we are building a more sustainable and a better future. And the proof of it isn't saying we're going to do this in the future. It's happening right now. And I just got to say, I say we as in like the collective we, kind of like I say we as a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. Shout out to the Steelers, making my, I definitely grew some gray hairs this weekend with this ridiculous football game that happened. But we won. Sorry, Bengals. Not really sorry, but with that being said, I say I say we lost, right? Like we won as a Steeler fan. It's kind of like that same we as greater than me, right? In the Ethereum side, because it's really the Ethereum. It's that entire group. It's the entire committee. It's the organization. It's that group that has been spending countless hours and hours. And here's the beauty. We feel like it's been a little bit of a tease. I remember when I first started talking about Ethereum and blockchain value. I was talking blockchain early on, 2014, 2015, but it was probably 2017, 2018 that I was really highlighting some of the differences between blockchains. And that's when people were talking about, well, just wait till the merge. We'll just wait till ETH 2.0. We just wait till ETH upgrades their system. And guess what? We're finally here, and they've put in all the time. So let's jump in to those questions that I know that many people are asking, and we're just going to kind of fire through these. So the first one says, what do I need to do myself? Like, if you're listening to this right now, and you're like, what do I need to do to protect myself? What do I need to do to make sure I upgrade? Here's the answer. Absolutely nothing. There is nothing you need to do or should do, and honestly, what you need to do is not click on links or buy into people's hypes or their scare tactics that they're going to try to sell you or upsell you or convince you that you need to do all of these things. Right now, the reason that, and this is the other part of this, right? They are literally fixing the highway while we are driving on it. The beauty of it is as long as we don't veer off of the lane that we're in and we stay doing what we're doing, the highway in front of us is going to be upgraded and we don't have to do a damn thing. It's kind of beautiful in that way. But it's also a little bit unnerving because we're not used to that, right? Like I know the new iPhone came out. Actually, while we're recording this, and I know some of you listeners are a little bit of a stickler, I've been beta testing iOS 16. It just came out today, so if you're listening to this, it's already out. It has one of the coolest features there are, and that is delete text button. And I want all of you to upgrade just so I can delete my text to you. Like I've had the delete text function for 2 months now as a beta tester, but I can only delete text with people that have the software upgrade. So there's a couple people I know. Shout out to those of you that have also gone through the upgrade. My friend Brian Kramer, I was able to delete text with him the weekend. We were actually like having fun with each other, deleting some text back and forth. But I say that because the test went great. Things went really well. But when you're upgrading your iPhones, you have to back it up to the cloud. You have to prepare your technology. You have to turn in your device. So our normal, right? Like what we're used to when there is a massive technology upgrade in our world is that there are a lot of things fall on us. But in a decentralized world powered by the blockchain, if a blockchain is done correctly and leverages the test net and understands how to scale and some of the things that go into this and is willing to put in the time, the users, we should not have to do anything. And guess what? With this, you do not have to. And I'll kind of dive into a little bit more on what that really means, because the next question says, Brian, I know you said I shouldn't do anything, but I'm not really a great listener, and I'm wondering, should I just move all my NFTs to my Ledger hardware wallet? Or whatever hardware wallet you use, because Ledger is not sponsored this, at least not yet. Shout out to Ledger. Should you move your NFTs to your hardware wallet? Here's the answer to that. I believe gas prices are going to be pretty low leading around, because we're not going to see a lot of people minting. Not many people are going to be staking their Ethereum. It actually might not be a bad time to move your NFTs, because the GUI is going to be so low, it's not going to cost you much money. But here's the thing. Don't think by moving the NFTs to your hardware wallet, all of a sudden it's going to protect you more in the sense of the merge, because like I said on the first question, there isn't anything technically that we need to do right now. Now, I know that there probably aren't going to be a lot of projects that are minting right that same day. If you have Ethereum staked in any of the exchanges, it's going to be it's going to be in there for probably a couple months. As far as Ether, I always, it's a little bit of a stickler, right? Where Ethereum is the blockchain, Ether is the cryptocurrency. So if you have Ether staked in one of the exchanges, then it's probably going to be there for a couple months. But I think if you own a Ledger or a hardware wallet, right now is a great time to make those moves. Remember, a hardware wallet, it does not move anything off of the blockchain, right? For those that are watching on our YouTube channel, I'm holding up my hardware wallet right now, and guess what? There are no NFTs stored here. Right? This is only a second layer of security where it has a randomized code that I have to put in to verify that, hey, this is me and this is another physical thing. But just kind of throwing that out there is just something that people that we should definitely be aware of when it comes to the question. So that was number 2. Should I move my NFTs to my Ledger? You can, but it's not for protecting yourself from the merge. It's just, hey, I know many of you bought a Ledger and you're like, well, I'm just waiting for the right time to move them. Well, right now might be the best time. Number 3, and remember, do your own damn research. This is not financial advice, but this is what I'm doing, and this is what I've told my team. This is what we talked about in our Discord. This is what I've shared in all of the Twitter spaces. I did a Twitter space with Ledger and Polygon, Unstoppable Domains, and CoinDesk last week, and this is the advice we all were giving. So, just putting it out there, kind of context. All right, the third question. What is the impact on other blockchains? Like maybe you're a Solana NFT person, or maybe you're a Polygon NFT person, or maybe you're one of those people that I'm still trying to figure out, that Cardano blockchain as far as NFTs. What is the impact on the other blockchains? Well, here's the truth. For a change, the media and the news, as long as everything goes right with the Ethereum upgrade, there is nothing bad that the public media, which loves to use bad use cases as examples, there is nothing bad that they can spin this. So as a whole, other blockchains and other cryptocurrency, this is a good day. Every one of them should be cheering for Ethereum merge to go smoothly. Now, I do listen to a couple podcasts that have a bunch of Bitcoin maxis. Some of them are, they're kind of like that kid from Sandlot, shout out to the Sandlot baseball, movie. Whenever they want to use his baseball and he's like, no, I'm going to take my baseball and go home. Some of those Bitcoin maxis they're just bitter and they're jealous and they don't like other people playing in their playground. They used to make these claims like Bitcoin was the only one that could do these things. But Bitcoin was the first, and Bitcoin is what many of this has been built upon. But this should be a great day for all blockchains, all cryptocurrencies. Now, that does not mean all of a sudden the price is going to go up, because we remember most of the price jumps in crypto happens based on speculation and anticipation. And then once the day comes, it's usually a sell-off. There's usually a drop there, right? And then I believe we'll have a rebound. My own look on this is, if you're holding ETH between now and the end of the year, I think you're in a good position, right? That's where I am at, but of course, not financial advice there. So that's my number 3 on what impact on other blockchains. Number 4, nothing to do at all, Brian. Then what the hell is the big deal? Why should we even care? There's all these Twitter spaces on it. If you Google it, it's all over the place. If there's nothing we individually have to do, then why is it a big deal, or should we even care? Or if we don't have to change any of our habits, what is this all about? This is where we're moving, my friends. I talk about this a lot. My driving force, the thing that I get most excited about, is helping us find the synergy or the harmony between technology and humanity. I do not think about technology replacing what we do as humans. And let's be very truthful. When we think about the problems in the world today, technology doesn't solve people problems. People solve people problems. And so when I look at the future, the beauty of where we're moving is to a harmony where we can upgrade the technology without drastically disrupting our lives or our world or our day-to-day. I kind of think about this a little bit like the Y2K bug. And if you're a Gen Zer and you're listening to this, you can just Google Y2K or just think about those songs like We're Gonna Party Like It's 1999. Because many of us were stuck in this, we'll build a bunker in our backyards, fill it with food and storage and plan for the end of the earth because the computers were not built to roll over. And so when all of a sudden, when it was 99 at the end of the number and the last day ended, all of a sudden every computer in the world would shut down. And of course, what happened? Well, for me, I was a big geek back then in 99. I was a senior in high school, that's not true. I was a freshman in college, and I remember my goal was to be up, for the Y2K, intersection as we migrated. I believe I was up, but let's just say I might have had 1 or 2 or 3 beverages as I was pledging my fraternity at the time. So I don't even remember the Y2K bug happening because nothing happened. We woke up the next day and everything rolled over perfectly fine and we were good to go. And that's the big deal. The big deal is when people talk, there's a lot of people that want to throw shade at what they don't know, because here's the truth. And it's one of my favorite quotes. I think it's a Bob Dylan quote, but I feel it's one of those quotes that sometimes Gandhi gets credit for it, sometimes Tony Robbins gets credit for it. But it's people would rather bash change than learn something new or change themselves, right? So we would rather than feel like, oh my goodness, we have to change and learn something new, we would rather just break it down and try to push off this as long as we go. And so for those that are when you're thinking about the narrative that you share on Ethereum or NFTs or blockchain or Web3 as a whole, the narrative in my mind is that we are starting to build things the way that it's going to make the world a better place. 99.95% more sustainable. And just for the record, it was pretty damn sustainable before, because if you compared it to how many servers, I worked at a data center for 2 years, right? If you compared it to how many servers existed or how many washers and dryers that we have in our houses, no one talked about stopping to, only put your clothes on a clothesline outside, but we said we don't want to use Ethereum because it was spending too much energy. But that excuse goes away now with this. All right, last one, the 5th question in our little 5 questions around the Ethereum merge. This question is, okay, Brian, after this, we're done, right? What's next for the Ethereum merge? And the answer is no, we are not done. But this is the biggest upgrade component. The next components is we have the surge and we have the purge. And I'm not making those things up, I swear. That is literally the naming convention they had. I mean, hey, we're dealing with some of our friends here in the geeky side, right? We have the merge, the purge, and the surge. It sounds like it should be out of either a Beavis and Butthead or somewhere in Wayne's World. But with that being said, those next things are going to happen over the next 2 to 3 years. And what they are going to do is they're going to refine some of the things around transactions, around privacy, even the way that smart contracts are shared, and some of the components beyond what we see kind of in the Ethereum side of the house today. But with all of that being said, the thing that's exciting about after this is a lot of these moves, once we are sustainable, and I'll kind of just give you a little bit of my prediction on this whole thing. My prediction is that we are going to see at the end of this year, the start of next year, we're going to see institutional money enter the NFT space. And I'm not talking about big brands, and I'm not talking about mass adoption. I'm talking about something that's bigger and going to have more of an impact. Institutional money. The money that is not very well often talked about, that is oftentimes with in the top 0.1% of VCs and companies that run the world, right? Like, let's be really honest about things, right? Like, we know that there's only a handful of companies that are in the billions upon billions of operation budget. One of the biggest, if not the biggest component and roadblock for them jumping into this space with both feet was the sustainability component, right? The idea of, how sustainable is this, and how much can they trust those behind the Ethereum blockchain, those behind all of the blockchains, really, to actually stay on, stay up, and deliver. I didn't add this question in here, but this is kind of like the bonus one. There will not be a downtime. And I worked in a data center, as I said, for 2 years. Downtime was a 4-letter word. We were not allowed to use it in our company because we were paid to be up. That's what companies came to us and used our data center for. So sometimes we would be like, oh, don't worry, we were only down 11 minutes last year. And our CEO would say, that means that we were okay being with downtime. So if I have to say, like, the things that I'm excited, that I'm hoping for this Ethereum merge, I'm hoping everything goes smooth. I'm hoping to continue to hear the clear communication around it. I'm hoping the media does not try to spin or shadow ban this conversation around this really big impact it's going to have as far as shifting to a more sustainable future. And then the last thing about this is I also hope this is going to open some people's eyes to come back and play in this space again now that we kind of have. It doesn't mean that we're all of a sudden going to have a bull run out of nowhere. We're not even ready for another bull run. What I really hope for is that we just kind of stay sustainable for the next many months, right? We will have the dip after the merge. We'll probably come back up, maybe even a little bit above where we're at now. And then I hope we have a couple months of around that same playground, right? Like right around that 2K ETH value. I hope that sticks around for through the holidays, because then we can start building. Then we can start really kind of driving things forward. Because here's the truth: last fall, that's what we had, but we didn't know what the hell we were doing. Now we know a little bit more about what we're doing, and it sure as hell would be nice if we were at least sustainable and we weren't as chaotic. But hey, we're playing in the crypto space, and that's kind of part of the variables that we have here. Of course, definitely give a shout out to our sponsor, Crypto Business Conference. I mentioned that I had something for those that might not be able to travel to San Diego, but you want to consume some of the content. You're like, Brian, I don't want to miss out on this. There is an on-demand pass that is available for you to purchase. So if you want to get the content, you want to see, you want to consume what's happening there at San Diego when we're at that event, make sure to go to socialmediaexaminer.com/NFT365. So it's socialmediaexaminer.com/NFT365. You can actually purchase a ticket to get the actual on-demand content for you, so you don't miss a thing, and you can actually learn it and can take it in whenever it is that you want. And then lastly, I just want to put out there, right, like, it's easy for us to throw shade or to like not recognize that, like, I mean, a lot of the conversations happening around the ETH merge for multiple reasons, right? So much other things around this space right now is pretty low and pretty down, right? Like, we don't want to talk about the trade volume going down. We don't want to talk about rug pulls. We don't want to talk about scams. So it's kind of fun to be able to talk about something that's exciting, something that's inspiring us, that motivating us, should get us all kind of believing that the future is going to be a better place for that harmony between technology and humanity. But on top of that, this is where the thing that I believe we need more so than anything else in this space are powerful use cases that people can actually physically wrap their hand around to understand. And there was some really cool news that dropped today. And I got to give a big shout out to Nifty Gateway and the Polygon Network. So Nifty Gateway, of course, I shared the announcement a couple days ago that I've been appointed as one of the curators over there on that platform. But it had nothing to do with this announcement. I had no idea it was in the works. But Starbucks, that small, tiny little coffee company, maybe a couple of you have heard around the globe. Starbucks is moving their entire rewards plan, and they are embracing NFTs. Now, they're calling them something a little bit different, but the beauty of it is that they are moving it to Polygon. They are going to be living on the blockchain, and they are going all in with their rewards on the blockchain. They're going to be using Nifty Gateway as well. You're going to have to purchase it with fiat, so it's going to onboard a lot of people. I'm not looking for this to be mass adoption into our NFT world. I think of this as mass adoption into the start of the power of the blockchain. The question now for all of us is, what are the use cases that we are going to amplify, that we are going to implement, and we are going to make happen on top of these type of examples, because that's where the real change is going to happen. That's where the real magic is going to happen. And I'm excited. I'm going to be in Cleveland for the merge. No, I didn't decide to go to the place in the country that is probably like one of my least favorite sports cities, because I was born in Pittsburgh. Literally, when you're born in Pittsburgh, you're born into a terrible town, and you're literally told Cleveland sucks. And but I love Cleveland for this event. I'll be speaking at Content Marketing World, the largest content marketing event in the world, and I'll actually be on stage talking about not ETH. I'll be talking about NFT use cases for brands and creators there in Cleveland at Content Marketing World. So I'll be there, but I know there's ETH Merge parties happening in DC and LA, Miami, New York, Chicago. Check out Twitter if you want to go to like an ETH Merge party. Hey, I'm all for finding an excuse to party and networking with others that are in this Web3 space. So the last but not least thing is we also have merch. Merch is out for those that are interested. I know a bunch of you have jumped on that train. I'm wearing the sweatshirt right now, and I am very big stickler on comforty sweatshirts, and I own more hats than probably most of our listeners combined. I am really excited. We upgraded the quality of the sweatshirt, and I didn't push it live until I actually had this sweatshirt on, because I didn't want to believe that it was going to be worth the money it is, and it is about as comfy as it gets. We got hoodies, we got t-shirts, we got women t-shirts, we got men's, we got unisex, we have even fanny packs and hats. So definitely check out the links. We'll put the links here in the show notes. But until tomorrow, my friends, or until the ETH Merge, or hopefully the ETH Merge is in our past and we're celebrating its success, make it a great day. Cheers.